So the mark of the beast is not a Sunday law. Okay? Sunday law, there's nothing wrong with going to church on Sunday. So do you really think that God would judge people for the day that they worship? Okay? So from my understanding, the Christians kept Sabbath and Sunday for hundreds of years until, as the Seventh-day Adventists will point out correctly, I believe, that Constantine, in the 3rd century, did sort of officially, or let's say he pushed Sunday through laws. He made Sunday laws, which mandated that the people not work on Sunday, and he pushed Sunday up to a holy day, and he pushed down the Sabbath day and all things Jewish. Okay, he wrote the law that said anyone caught Judaizing, right, on the Sabbath shall be put in jail, given fines, etc. So they were not allowed to follow the biblical holidays. These are not Jewish holidays, they're biblical. They are God's feast days. That's what he says. That's what God says in the Bible. These are my holy days. Okay? Passover, first fruits, Pentecost, right? Even Hanukkah, that was being practiced in the days of Jesus. That's not necessarily in the Bible. It wasn't commanded by God. But there are the major feast days that were commanded by God. So Constantine pushed all those down, and the bishops, they were pushing it down, right? Then you had the political power being taken from Rome, given to the popes, okay? Then the Church of Rome did push these feasts down, and they put their feasts in place of them. Christmas, Easter, okay? All these are pagan feast days on pagan dates with pagan practices, pagan names, okay? Christmas is a pagan name. Easter is based on Ishtar, the fertility goddess, okay? It's a pagan fertility rite where they dyed Easter eggs, okay? Don't get uptight about it. It just is fact. This is fact. This is history. You can participate in whatever you like. You have freedom as a Christian, okay? I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying. So they pushed down God's feast days, and they promoted all these Catholic holidays, okay, universal, which were really pagan holidays disguised and cloaked in Christianity, okay? Quick thought about that. Paganism is dangerous. Christianity, love of Christ, Christianity can be dangerous too. What I'm talking about is just following Jesus is the way to go, okay? I just watched Children of the Corn, and they were like, Christian, they were following the Bible, and they were following God's laws, and they had a prophet, and he heard from God, and we know how dangerous that is. So all you charismatics, man, be careful out there. Don't be following people who are hearing from God, okay? If you want to hear people's dreams and visions, take it with a grain of salt, okay? Hear them out, but don't be thinking people are prophets, man. Prophets was for the 1st century. We don't need prophets anymore. So again, back to the Seventh-day Adventists, they claim that Ellen White was a prophet. I used to believe that for 4 years. I read all her books, okay? I faithfully read her books every morning. I read all her Bible commentary along with the Bible. I thought I needed her commentary to understand the Bible because, especially when I first read it, I was new, and so I didn't understand, especially the Old Testament. And she did clear up a lot of things. She filled in the gaps. A little dangerous, but there is some stuff in there that she mentions that I do agree with that isn't directly in the Bible, but seems to be implicit. For example, just a quick one. You got Cain and Abel, right? God accepts Abel's sacrifice. He rejects Cain's, okay? Cain's did not involve shedding of blood. Abel's did, right? Cain brought the fruit of the field. That was what he wanted to bring God. Abel brought a blood sacrifice. Now, implicit in the text, Ellen White points out that God had told Cain and Abel what he wanted for sacrifice. Abel listened and Cain didn't. Cain just wanted to do what he wanted to do, which is his own self-will, his self-righteousness, his works-based salvation. Okay? There is no forgiveness of sins without the shedding of blood. The Bible is clear. So Abel did the right thing by shedding the blood, which represented the blood of Christ in the future. Looking forward, his faith in that blood saved him. Now, when God comes to Cain and says, why the long face, right? If you do what's good, you'll do what's good. And if you do bad, you'll get bad. What is the deal here? Why would God say that to Cain unless he had previously told him what he wanted? Okay? The Bible doesn't explicitly say that. And when you read it at face value, sometimes it seems like God's being cruel, right? Because he's like, you're like, wait, you didn't see him tell him that. Okay. And then later he's punishing him. He's like, well, he's basically saying, you know what to do. So it seems obvious, even though it's not written, that God had told them this information. Makes sense. Most people, most Christians believe that the first sacrifice was actually Adam and Eve. When they were naked, they had to slay an animal to cover their nakedness. Okay. That was the first animal sacrifice. So immediately